Fixer family, it's Charmin. Welcome to Fixin' To.
Here are the main items to get us started. We're going to be using two 6-foot privacy fence slats that you can get at your local hardware store, a brad nailer, a sander, and also a jigsaw. I'll have some other things as I show you as we go. Now, the first thing I did, and I freehanded this, was just to kind of get an idea of two of these slats side by side for the ears and the head of the bunny. And I just freehanded kind of like a template of where I'm going to be cutting. So this is really easy just to kind of take and know that you're going to be making some ears and a head. So once I did this, I took my jigsaw and of course just began to cut it out, making sure that you're practicing your safety by wearing your safety goggles and making sure that you've got everything, you're just being aware of your surroundings. Now once I got that cut out, I'm going to take my the first one that I cut and take the second piece, laying the first one on top of it, and I'm going to use it as a template for the second one. Getting it all lined up and then just using a pencil again just to trace out those cuts that I've already made. And once you get those cut out, you put it side by side and you can kind of see now that we have our bunny. Now once everything's cut out, we are going to sand this down really well. I sand the front and the back and all of the edges, because when you're cutting out with a jigsaw, you might have a few little rough spots there and you just want to make sure you get it sanded down really good. So now we are ready to put the bunny together, and I just use some scrap wood, measuring the width of course, and just some scrap pieces, and I'm going to be putting one closer to the bottom, probably about, 5 or so inches up from the bottom, putting some wood glue on there, and then I'm using my brad nailer with 1 1/4 inch brad nails to make sure that that holds together really well. The second piece I'm going to take and put up here and kind of in the middle of the back of his head. I am joining in the Easter DIY challenge today, hosted by my friend Heidi from Heidi Sonboul DIY. Now guys, I will have a playlist linked down below with all the awesome inspiration that you're going to get from there, as well as Heidi's channel linked down below. So when you get done here, go check them both out. You won't be disappointed. So let's go ahead, get back into today's project. Now we are ready to put some paint on our bunny. Now the first thing I am doing is, of course, I am spray painting the edges, and I know it is windy and you're not supposed to be spray painting when it's windy, but you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And I am fighting with this sheet here that I've got up. But anyway, we are going to take some rust-oleum chalk paint in the color charcoal, and I'm going to be painting the edges. Now this is doing two things. One, it's going to give us a finished edge on our bunny, but it's also going to give us some overspray on the front of the bunny, and that is exactly what I want. As you'll see, I'm going to go in, and once I get the edges done, and I'm going to fill in some spots inside, and this is going to give me a rustic look once I put the paint over the top of it. And you'll see what I'm talking about once we get started with the white paint. Now I'm using some paint that I have. It is just white semi-gloss. It's from Home Depot. I have no idea the name brand. As you can see, I've made a mess on the outside of the can. But we're going to do a dry brush effect here. We're going to take our white paint and lightly put it on the end of our brush, dabbing off the excess. And then we're going to go in to the bunny and begin to paint it on. Now guys, you can always add, but you can't take away. So you want to start out super light and then build from there until you get the desired look that you're going for. And as you guys see, you'll see how that charcoal paint kind of gives me a rustic feel, as well as the wood that it was left bare. And it really gives you several dimensions within your bunny, and I just love how this turned out. So now I'm going to just take some pink acrylic paint that I had on hand, and I'm going to do the same technique with the ears, starting out super light and then adding color as I wanted to build the layers and get the desired look I was going for. Now I'm going to take some black acrylic paint and a fine tip paintbrush, and I'm going to create some eyes. Now you guys can create any type of eye that you want to. I just chose to do these little cute little, probably about an inch long, little oblong pieces, but that was just my choice. Do it as you want to. And so of course I came inside, but we're going to create some cute rosy cheeks for our bunny, and it's using the same technique I did with the ears by just putting a little bit of paint on the brush, getting most of it off, and giving him some rosy cheeks. Now his nose is going to be an upside down heart. It's a little chipboard heart that I had from Valentine's Day that I got from the Dollar Tree. I just painted it pink and then just kind of dry brushed a little bit of white on it. And some whiskers using this floral wire that we got from the Dollar Tree. It's, I think, 20 gauge black wire. And you can use a pencil, or as I'm using a paintbrush handle here, and you just kind of wrap it around the paintbrush until you get these little spiral little curly cues and once you take it off of there, you will see it slides off super easy and you have your little whiskers. And of course you can adjust the length of them from there, stretching it out a little bit or what have you. So now we're going to place them onto the back of our little nose. Turning our heart upside down, we're going to place 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. Now I'm sorry about my hand kind of being in the way here, but I think you'll get the idea of just using the little long piece that you have at the back, putting some hot glue down and placing those in it, and then just let them sit until you get till they set, of course. And now we're going to add it to our little bunny face, and I just pile on the hot glue here to make sure that I get a good connection with it and it stays. But it goes on there, and doesn't he look so stinking cute? Now guys, don't forget, I am over on Instagram. I am at Charmin_Vixen2, and I would love for you guys to come over and say hi. I love to get on my stories and share a little bit of maybe behind the scenes of what's going on, as well as participate in the Dollar Tree DIY tour and other things that I do. So make sure you come over and say hi. So now guys, this is completely optional, but I wanted to add a little bit of something to my porch bunny, since that's where he's going to be setting. And I printed out some decals on my vinyl cutter and just did Happy Easter. Started from the bottom up and then began to just put my Easter and then Happy at the top. Now, of course, this vinyl did not want to stick to the paint, I guess, that I'm using here, but I'm going to show you a little trick on how you can help if you have that issue. But we just went on putting the stuff in there and getting it exactly where we wanted it. And now I'm going to take my hair dryer. Again, I love using my little hair dryer, and I'm going to put it on the warm setting. And then I'm going to just go over the vinyl and begin to kind of heat it up just a little bit. You only want to do a little bit at a time. And what you'll see is it kind of starts to, it looks like it's going to bubble up, but what it's doing is the adhesive that's in the back of the vinyl will heat up, and as you press it down, it will then stick better to the surface that you're having an issue with. Now, it's not 100% foolproof, but it definitely helps. So this is a tip that you can use, and it worked really well on this particular piece. So I wanted to do one last thing to my bunny, and that is to add a bow around his neck. And I'm just using some ribbon from my stash here, and just easily just going to wrap a piece of the ribbon around his neck, kind of measuring out about what I'm, feeling, I guess you could say, and just tying that around his neck. And it is wired ribbon, so we'll be able to manipulate it. And then I'm just going to create a 2-looped bow to go on top of it. Now guys, I will link in the iCards above for you and down in the description box as well, a link to a couple of videos I have done on different types of bows so that you can go over and check those out. But I'm just going to glue down my ribbon here on the bottom, and then I'm going to cut some dovetails and then take my 2 loops and glue it to the top. He turned out so stinking cute, guys. Let me know down in the description box below what you think. I'm so glad that you guys joined me today, and I hope that you enjoyed this project as much as I did. I'm so excited to get him displayed out on my porch for everybody to see because he is so cute. Now don't forget that down in the description box below is the link to the playlist for the Easter DIY challenge, as well as a link to Heidi's channel. Now if you've never checked out Heidi's channel, make sure you do that. You will not be disappointed. And if no one has told you today, you are amazing. And always remember to keep looking up, because that's where it all is. I'll see you on the next video.